Stanley works as a clerk at the Idapi Edge City Bank, and he is constantly tormented by practically everyone in his life, including his boss, his landlord, Mrs. Penman, and his automobile mechanic, Malo, his lone friend, and Charlie, one of his associates. Meanwhile, Duran Tyrell, a gangster, owns the Coco Bongo nightclub, which conspires to keep his boss Nico out. Daryl sends Tina Carlisle, his singing girlfriend, to Stanley's bank with a concealed camera in order to loot the bank. Stanley is assassinated with Tina, and it appears that she is seeking vengeance. After declining to join Coco Bongo that night, he was trapped with a broken moon car in a filthy city port, where he found a curious wood mask amid a garbage stack, which he mistook for man. He brings it home and makes a joke about it. The mask wraps around her head, taking on the form of a bizarre, Green the Mask, a trickster in whom there is no reality wire, no physical instability, and no personal barrier. The gang is alarmed by the road's attempt to deceive them. The next morning, Stanley is confronted by Lieutenant Calloway, a fatigued Edge City detective, and Peggy, a newspaper reporter who is investigating both last night's veiled activity. Despite the threats, he felt confident enough in the mask to use it again, and he returned it later that evening. Tina requires financial assistance in order to participate in your Coco Bongo concert. Mask buys a ticket to Coco Bongo, where he was joyfully invited by Sweet Eddie with Tina, and shakes the joints. Tyrell demanded fiercely who is responsible after the trend died in his arms, and he revealed the mask to Eddie, who had danced with Tina. The mask kisses Tina at the end of a dance, then lifts his shoes and faces Daryl, who pulls out his weapon and fires a piece of the mask's tie, which returns to Stanley. It transforms into a unique pair of pajamas. Mask flees, but is apprehended by Tyrell. Lieutenant Calloway, a piece of pajamas, also obtains a scrap of pajamas, who claims to be a frozen police officer's body. In his apartment, Kyla confronts Stan, and Stanley, exhausted, collects all of the money in his closet. The masked Dr. Arthur Newman, Ben Stein, then advised Stanley that the object was a painting of Loki, the Norse deity of darkness and mischief. When Tyrell and Lieutenant Calloway are on the lookout for him, Stanley is more assured in front of his boss and plans to meet Tina at the local landfill site. The meeting is disrupted when Tina is endangered by going ahead of the mask, and Lieutenant Claw tries to apprehend it. Before departing the park, an enraged cop enlists the help of Toys and Edge City police officers to mass-produce Cuban tattoos. Stanley removes the mask, and Peggy assists him in escaping, but instead of a crowd of $50,000, he pulls himself out of Tyre. Carol tries on a mask and transforms into a demon creature, instructing Stanley to find out where he took the money. Because Tyler's hands uncover a stall in Stanley's apartment, Stanley is later depicted in a crowded car. Stanley is tossed in Kellogg's lap, wearing a green rubber mask, and is imprisoned. Tina drags Steely back to her cell and compels her to flee the city. He tries, but Orlando pursues him and Tyrell encircles him. Tina was forced to a charity ball ride in Coco Bongo, whose hosting Nico was defined by Nico and the city's mayor Mitchell Tilton after he was informed about his plans to depart the city for Orlando. The city is also involved in this. Tyrell arrived masked, having slain Nico in a gunfight and ready to destroy the club and Tina. Meanwhile, Malo assists Stanley in escaping his cell, and he proceeds to the club to confront Tyrell, eventually dragging Lieutenant Calloway along with him. Because he enters Coco Bongo with his gun, Stanley instructed Lieutenant Calloway to call for backup when he arrived. After a brief victory with the help of Charlie, Stanley was discovered by Orlando and was captured before he could do anything. Tina duped Tyrell into removing his mask, revealing Malo. The dog transforms into a cartoon pit bull, defeating Tyrell's men, but Stanley fights Doran. Stanley then grabs the mask and puts it on one last time, using its skills to shield Tina before tossing the tire into the club's ornate fountain. The rest of the tire hens were apprehended by the cops. Lieutenant Calava orders Stanley to be released when Mayor Mitchell Tilton examines the majority of them, and believes Tyrell has made a mask from scratch. Mayor Mitchell Tilton informed Stanley, Tina, Charlie, and Malo that Lieutenant Colruyt wishes to speak with him. Stanley, Dina, Malo, and Charlie masks return to the port as soon as the sun rises, where Tina and Stanley throw it back into the water and share their first kiss. Malo discovers Charlie floating with the mask as he tries to collect it for himself.